Hey, welcome back to the Black and Gold Standard Podcast. And today we're going to not finish, but we're going to be talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers um, drafts of the last 30 years. This is part 3 of 4. And so today we'll be talking about the 2010s. So pretty much all Steeler fans will know these guys and know these players. And it won't be like how it was in the 90s because like I say, I know a lot of the younger people like who the heck is these guys, but um these guys here will be way more popular. Everybody will pretty much know these guys here. So with that said, let's get into it. Let's get into it and see what we come up with. So again, we're talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers draft busts and hits, and just trying to. And like I say, we're only doing the first round. We're not really doing a whole draft. And quite obviously, you may have a first round hit, which I mean a first round bust, but maybe the rest of your draft turned out, or it could be the opposite, where you can have a first round hit, but the rest of your draft was trash. In which, I mean, granted, if you hit with a player in the first round, more than likely that means you have a, a, a definitely a starter and a guy that's going to really contribute to your team. But you want to. I would say to have a successful draft, realistically, I think you got to at least be about 50%. If every year you're at least 50%, and then just some of them years you may can get up to 60% of hits, I think you're doing good. I I think you're doing good. Definitely, I would say right at 50%. If you get to that number, I feel like you're doing good because the draft is just it's a crapshoot. It's a crapshoot. Can't nobody ever tell me, or you shouldn't let anybody tell you that they figured the draft out and they know what it takes to say that this guy's a hit. No, no, because a lot of these guys that bust, if you look at them as college players, these guys were outstanding, and they showed that hey, going to the next level, these guys should be good players. And then when they get to the NFL, because it's so much more to the NFL. Uh, I mean, for the most part now, it's kind of changing now, but for the most part, this is the first time guys got money, and money does different things to different people. How motivated a person is, and also it depends on where you go. You remember, sometimes it may not be the perfect fit for you. Maybe this ain't the perfect system that fits for you, and you end up getting drafted there, and it just you get passed up, or the system don't work for you. So it's so much other stuff that kind of leads to if a guy is going to be a bust or not. It's just not the fact that the guy doesn't have talent, because he definitely showed in college that he has the talent, but it just like I say, with some guys it don't translate into the NFL game. So what I did was um we did the 2000s last week. And so what I came up with was, I'm going to say the best Steeler draft in the 2000 was the 2002 draft. And out of the 2002 draft, you end up eventually getting 5 starters out of that draft. Um, Kendall Simmons, your number one pick, he started as a rookie. Um, Antoine Randall L. I don't know if he was really a starter, but he played a lot. And you almost could say he was a starter, but he played a lot. So he was a hit. Then in the third round, you got Chris Hope, safety. He was a hit. Didn't stay with the Steelers. He just finished out his first contract, but he got a big contract. I think he went to the Tennessee Titans. So he was definitely a hit. Larry Foote. You got Larry Foote in the fourth round. And he was a starter. He was a hit. And in the 6th round, and this was the Steelers' second pick in the 6th round, Brett Kiesel. Um, so when you look at all their drafts of the 2000s, I thought this was the best class. The 2002 draft was the best draft. I think I want to say it was just 2 other guys in this draft class, and those guys obviously I don't even know if they made the team or not. But you can't ask that. That's what I'm saying. You can't ask for more than that. And that this was a great class. Now, yeah, you had Big Ben and you had Troy Polamalu. They were in the 2000s, but if you look at those drafts, and I know at least with Troy, part of the problem was the Steelers had to move up, so they had to get rid of some draft picks. But if you look at the draft, yeah, you got 2 Hall of Famers, but the rest of the draft was basically a disaster. So um that's just my opinion. And if you have an opinion or a different opinion, put it in the comments. But I'm gonna say the 2002 draft was the best Steeler draft in the 2000s. Okay, so let's get right to it. Let's move on. Let's move on. So 2000, 2010, um, center, um, Marquise Pouncey. This is going to be a guy that probably he's probably going to be a Hall of Famer. Probably going to be a Hall of Famer. I don't think he'll be a first ballot Hall of Famer, but he has a great chance of becoming a Hall of Famer and just kind of leading that tradition of what the Steelers have always done, and that's have a solid center. It started for Mike Webster and kept on going. So um Pouncey was he was the 18th pick in the 2010 draft, 6'4", 304 pounds. Um, Played 10 years with the Steelers and played until his retirement. He had 134 games. He played 134. He played in 134 games. Had 134 starts. Um, 9-time Pro Bowler, 2-time All Pro, all 2010 um, team member. He was coached by Mike Tomlin and Kevin Colbert was the GM. Um, yeah, like Pouncey kept the long tradition of great centers going in Pittsburgh. He has a very good chance of earning that permanent spot in Canton, Ohio, in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So I think when it's all said and done, like I say, I don't think he's going to be a first rounder, a first ballot Hall of Famer. But I think at the end of the day, he will be down in the gold jacket. And like I say, that'll just keep a tradition going that the Pittsburgh Steelers have been fortunate enough to do, and that's always have a big time center. They have one now, and Zach Frazier. He's still he's still early in his career, but he's going in the right direction. All right, number 2, 2011 defensive tackle Cam Hayward, another guy that at the end of the day, I think he may be wearing a gold jacket. Um, I mean, Cam is, Cam has been a solid. Now to me, I thought at the beginning of his career, you was kind of like, man, I don't know about this guy, but Cam had to kind of wait his turn, and he did. And but I think for the last 5 years or so, I mean, Cam has been a monster. Had another great year last year, this past season, and I mean he's doing this in his upper 30s now. So 6'5", 295 pounds. I think Cam is bigger than that. That's probably what he. Well, that's his draft weight. Um, out of Ohio State. He was the last pick in the 2011 first round. No, he wasn't. He was the second to last pick in the 2011 draft. Cam's been with the Steelers for 15 years, and he's still playing right now. Now, will he come back for year 16? We'll see. I believe he will. And I think it's just a situation. If the Steelers can find a way to kind of limit his snaps and get to a point where he's really not playing as many snaps, Cam can definitely have a solid year next year. His stats: he's played in 228 games, 193 starts, 2 interceptions, 64 pass defense. I mean, he is the master of batting balls down. He has that perfect timing. He has 9 forced fumbles, 7 fumble recoveries, 92 sacks. I know he probably want to get to 100 sacks. I don't know. I mean, he gonna have a great year to do that, but I know that's probably a number that he's really, really trying to get to. Now, if he can squeeze out 2 years, if he could play this year and next year, I think that 100 sacks will be in play. But for 1 year, it's gonna be a little tough. It's gonna be a little tough. Got 796 tackles, 142 tackles for loss, a 7-time Pro Bowler, 4-time All-Pro, and he was a 2023 Walter Payton Man of the Year. It's an old school guy here. So he was coached by Mike Tomlin, Kevin Colbert, and Omar Khan with the GM. So again, this was a draft hit. And this is another guy that I believe at the end, when it's all said and done, he's going to be a Hall of Famer. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. Like I say, I know in the back of his mind, he definitely want to get to that 100 sack mark. So I think that's something that is probably a big goal for him. 2012 guard David DeCasco. This was a guy that actually, I mean, I don't know if he was really on the Steelers. I'm not gonna say the Steelers they were high on him, but I think they didn't probably think they would get him. I think for some reason he slid, and he slid right to the Steelers, and the Steelers probably ran that card. They probably ran that card up to the podium. Career kind of got cut short. He had a bad ankle injury, didn't really heal right, and just because of the money, I think the Steelers released him, and he pretty he retired after that. But again, this was he was a staple in the Steelers offensive line. As you can see, he wore 66 for his bud, Alan Faneca, 6'5", 316 pounds, out of Stanford. First round, 24th pick. He played 9 seasons with the Steelers, and he retired. He played 125 games, 124 of them were starts. 6-time Pro Bowler, 2-time All-Pro. Played for Mike Tomlin and Kevin Colbert. It was definitely a draft hit. And like I say, I think this was a situation, and this was a player that the Steelers probably just didn't think they had a shot at getting. I think they thought he would go higher in the draft, and when he slid to them, hey, they ran that card to the podium, and it was a great pick. So that he was definitely a hit. Moving right along. 2013 outside linebacker Jarvis Jones. Okay. So what I was saying earlier, guys show in college that, okay, this is going to be a sure bet. Travis Jarvis Jones in college was a monster. Um, it's nobody out here that would have said that this guy was going to be a bust like he did. And I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like sometimes it just be the system. Um, so it was just one of those situations where it didn't go right for him. We got the wrong thing on here. Oh, yeah, that's a mistake. Sorry about that. But with Jarvis Jones, it was just a situation where it didn't work out for him. But he was from Georgia. He was 17th pick overall. He only played 4 years with the Steelers, left free agent. I mean, the Steelers didn't pick up his deal. He played in 50 games, 35 starts, 2 interceptions, 9 pass defense, 4 forced fumbles, 3 fumble recoveries, 6 sacks, and 130 tackles. And he played for Mike Tomlin and Kevin Colbert. Again, just one of those guys where um, in college it shows like he's going to be a decent player, but just didn't work out. And to be honest, and you'll see, by him kind of busting out, it really put the Steelers in the 8 ball. That the Steelers now you got to look at that offense, that linebacker core was kind of in shambles a little bit, and it was basically because Jones didn't pan out, and then unfortunately 2014 inside linebacker Ryan Shazier career kind of started off shaky a little bit. He was injured a lot, and he kind of was on the shaky side, at least for me. But then all of a sudden that light bulb came on, and that's one of the things I will say about playing inside. And you do have some rookies that come in and can get it right away, but most of the times it takes those guys a couple of seasons to develop and really understand what they're doing. And I think Shazier was like one of those type guys. But when that light bulb came on, this guy he was a beast. And I think part of it was just the speed. The speed. I mean, he was running a 4.3 at linebacker, and the Steelers was chasing that. They was chasing that for years. And to be honest, they still kind of chasing it. But they were chasing that. I mean, unfortunately, Shazier suffered a career-ending spinal injury, paralyzing his lower body. But defying all odds, he learned how to walk again. But as a player, was on his way to becoming a dominant linebacker, I believe. Like I say, when the light bulb had came on for him, and he was really, really starting to wreck things. 6'1", 230 pounds. But like I say, at that size, that speed was unbelievable. Played at Ohio State. Was drafted in the first round, 15th pick overall. Played 4 years with the Steelers before his retirement. His stats, played in 46 games. So you see, he didn't really have a lot of games that he played in. Then he missed a lot of games in the beginning because he used to be hurt all the time. And that's why I had almost thought that I was thinking like, man, this is another dud the Steelers got. But his last couple of years, he kind of got over that and started playing well. But played 46 games, 41 starts. He had 7 interceptions, 25 pass defense, 7 forced fumbles, 3 fumble recoveries, 7 sacks, 299 tackles, a 2-time Pro Bowler. He played for Mike Tomlin and Kevin Colbert. Like I say, it was just an unfortunate injury that that he suffered, and again with Jarvis Jones not working out, and then Shazier, getting the injury that he got, just really, really put the Steelers in the A ball in that linebacker room. It really did. 2015, outside linebacker Bud Dupree. Another guy that I thought that at the beginning of his career, it was kind of, now he played edge. The one thing that I liked about Bud was a big guy. He was a big guy, and he could move. And but at the beginning of his career, it was kind of underwhelming, I might say. But again, at the end, his last 3 years, because one of those years he blew his knee out, and I think he was on the franchise tag that year. But his last 3 years, he played outstanding, and the Steelers couldn't get a long-term deal made, with him, and then they put him on the franchise tag. But yeah, Dupree started off slow in his Steeler career, but got it together at the end. But unfortunately, the Steelers, it was right in time for his free agency, and Dupree, he went on and bounced for the big money. But he was 6'4", 269 pounds, out of Kentucky, first round, the 22nd overall pick. Played 6 years with the Steelers. Left as a free agent. He had played in 81 games, 66 as a starter, 1 interception touchdown, 11 pass defense, 8 forced fumbles, 3 fumble recoveries, 39.5 sacks, and 231 tackles. So at the end of the day, I say he was a hit. I like I say, to me, the beginning of his career, he kind of was seeming like he may have been a bust, but I think by the end he got it together, and he was a player. He was a player for the Steelers, and I think the Steelers wanted to keep him, but he just kind of priced himself out of Pittsburgh, at least. And to be honest, really didn't do anything major when he left the Steelers, but he definitely got it together right at the end of his career, at least Pittsburgh Steelers career. Oh, here we go. Here we go here. So 2016, Mr. Artie Burns. Again, this is a guy. When you look at his film, his last year, in college, yeah, he looked like a guy. He looked like a guy that probably was going to be a decent corner. I thought he was still a little raw. He was still a little raw. So my thing is, did he get the right coaching that he needed? He showed some flashes, but it just seemed like actually he showed the flash in his first year, but then after that it was kind of like downhill. It was just like he lost his confidence or something. So I don't know. I mean, Burns was very raw when drafted by the Steelers and never developed into the players the Steelers thought they was drafting. He was 6 foot, 187 pounds, out of Miami. First round, 25th pick overall. Only played 4 years with the Steelers, left as a free agent. Um, Played in 58 games, 32 starts. He had 4 interceptions, 27 pass defense, 1 forced fumble, 2 fumble recoveries, 5 tackles for loss, and 149 tackles. Coached by Mike Tomlin, and the GM was Kevin Colbert. So the Steelers kind of knew right away he wasn't gonna he wasn't cutting it. Didn't pick up his 5th-year option, and he was a one contract guy and done. So he was a bust. He was a bust. You know, it happens. It happens, and Mr. Burns was definitely a bust for the Steelers. So moving on to 2017, outside linebacker or defensive edge, T.J. Watt. Do I need to say more? Um, definitely a hit. Watt is widely regarded as one of the NFL's premier pass rushers, known for his crazy motor, and that's like one of I think the things that T.J. Watt has, and what we really didn't see last year is just that motor, man. I mean, TJ had that motor, like, he just wasn't gonna be stopped. He's never been the biggest, never been the strongest out there, but that was just like one of the things that I thought was definitely missing from his game, and hopefully this new staff can kind of get that back or help him get that back. But we'll see. 6'4", 252 pounds. I think he's a little heavier than that now. Out of Wisconsin, first round, the 30th pick overall. 9 years with the Steelers so far, and he's still there. Stats. He's played in 135 games, 135 starts, 9 interceptions, 57 pass defense, 36 forced fumbles, 14 fumble recoveries, 115 sacks, 136 tackles for loss, 517 tackles, 8-time Pro Bowler, a 4-time All-Pro, and 2021 Defensive Player of the Year. He played for Mike Tomlin, Kevin Colbert, and right now Omar Khan as the GM. TJ's probably not probably he's going to be a Hall of Famer. So definitely another big time hit for the Steelers. And so all these draft picks right here is Kevin Colbert. But again, sometimes you have to look at the whole draft class. But Kevin Colbert was kind of doing his thing then. But as you can see, and we'll see, especially in the next part, he kind of lost his fastball. I thought he kind of lost his fastball a little bit, and it really hurt the Steelers and kind of put this team in a bad position. And Omar Khan is trying to kind of dig out from that stuff. So 2018, another guy that I thought the Steelers kind of reached for, safety Terrell Edmonds. I thought this was a reach. I thought he was more of a second round guy than a first round guy. I don't really know what was going on that the Steelers thought that they had to grab him, but Edmonds was drafted too high by the Steelers, in my opinion. So was he really a draft bust? That's the question that I have. I mean, I put him down as a bust, but my thing here is it more on him, or was it more on the Steelers organization that you kind of reached for a guy that I don't even understand why you reached for him? But he was 6'1", 217 pounds, out of Virginia Tech, first round, pick 28. So this is a guy that definitely probably should have went in the second round, mid-second round, Maybe the Steelers just thought going around, in the second round they couldn't get him. He played 6 years with the Steelers. He played his first five. He played out his contract, and then he came back. Was that last year? I mean, the year before last, or something like that. He came back for a season after he had left the Steelers. So honestly, since he's left the Steelers, he's kind of just been bouncing around. He's been bouncing around the league. I think he played for the Raiders last year. But he played in 84 games, 75 starts, 5 interceptions, 26 pass defense, 1 forced fumble, 5 sacks, 15 tackles for loss, 417 tackles. Coached by Mike Tomlin, Kevin Colbert, Omar Khan. And like I say, at the end of the day, and I want you to leave a comment and let me know what you think about Terrell Edmunds. I mean, yeah, for where he was picked in the first round, I guess you could say he was a bust. But my question is he really a bust, or was this just a situation where the Steelers just made a mistake of drafting a guy too high, and he honestly played to what his talent was kind of saying. I mean, it wasn't. I mean, you look at his stats; just wasn't like he was just terrible, and he was just terrible. But he got drafted too high. But I was just wondering what people kind of think. Is he a bust, or is this one that you kind of put on the coach and the GM for maybe taking a guy just way too high than what they needed to take? So leave a comment about that, and I'll be very interested to see what you guys say about that. And then 2019, inside linebacker Devin Bush. Um, his career started off very promising, but that's where it ended. Then he got hurt. He got hurt his second year, and then after that, he just didn't come back. Just didn't come back. Um, Nowhere near the player that the Steelers thought. I mean, Bush's career started off with a lot of promise and splash, but a torn ACL in the second year derailed his growth as a player with the Steelers and wasn't re-signed. Um, so there's a lot of things with that. He just, and then he had some, I ain't gonna say discipline issues, but just was some weird stuff going on with him. But Devin Bush bounced around the league a little bit. Also, played for the Cleveland Browns last year and had a great year. Now he's a free agent, and it probably made himself a little bit of money. But I always thought he was too small, 5'11", 235 pounds. I think the Steelers, and this was the ghost of Ryan Shazier. He ran well, so I think they thought that he could be a Shazier clone, and just wasn't that player. And like I say, then when he hurt his knee, just I don't know. I don't know if it did something to him mentally or what, but he just was not the same player, and the Steelers kind of got tired of him. And like I say, he was doing some weird stuff, and the Steelers didn't even give him a 5th-year option, and he was out of here. But played for Michigan, first round, 28th pick overall, 4 years with the Steelers. No, that's not right. I don't think. I don't think that's right. I think the Steelers. I think they moved up and got Bush. I think the Steelers moved up and drafted him. I don't. I think he was hired in the 28th pick. Um, 52 games played, 48 starts, 5 interceptions, 26 pass defense, 1 forced fumble, 5 sacks, 15 tackles for loss, 417 tackles. So he, I don't know. I don't know. Just a guy that I didn't I don't know. Just a guy that I thought that that the Steelers probably shouldn't have drafted. But you know, it was Mike Tomlin, Kevin Colbert, and Omar Khan a little bit. So with that said, you know, that was the 2010s. And so our last issue will be the 2020s. And we'll get through that and this series will be over with. But definitely leave me some comments because I'm very interested in hearing what you had to say about some of these guys. And with that said, you guys take care and I will talk to you later. All right. Bye-bye.